She literally didn't want to leave.
She literally did not want to leave.
But she made her decision. Yeah, she made her decision, but
Based on what? What was the decision based on?
well, the decision was basically based on Islam. That I want to fulfill half my deen, reach Allah, and marriage is a way. So she made
So
her
why
decision.
is it that after a few years you forget that purpose, that
Yeah.
motivation you had? You want to fulfill your iman.
Yeah.
Your iman now is complete with him.
Yeah, and being tested.
Yeah,
To
your,
progress.
your iman is complete with him, but now she wants that fulfillment of iman without him.
Yeah,
Because every time she
yeah.
wants to go away, she basically, if the core here is iman, and that's the motivation we have, and now she wants to stay away from him. She wants to do several hours, like you said, 8 days in the week. She'll do 8 days as well. Where's the iman coming to a completeness there?
What's interesting is the fact that you're saying she wanted, her decision to marry was based on what Islam says, right? And so what is interesting is now that she's married, why isn't she following what Islam says when it comes to going back to her parents?
Right.
See, now that's where there's, I think, some confusion in the community, and I think some public members have investigated, have done a bit of reading, and now they use it to their advantage. And when they use it to their advantage, that's where things get a little gooey. They get a little sticky, yeah. And then we're going to try to come to a middle ground and see what's reasonable, because at the end of the day, I think it's all about being reasonable. The Quran and Sunnah, it gives a general overview of how things should be done. It's not there to give every little solution right to the core of, whether I should pick up a knife or not, should I put down the fork, should I be heating this, should I be
Making this meal tonight.
yeah,
for
should
iftar.
I make this or not? Do I have to burn the toast or not? Quran and Sunnah won't go into that detail, but it's a matter of being reasonable and understanding. And I think if Khalid Bhai throw some scenarios in,
Yeah.
we'll try to come to that reasonability and see where we can.
Okay, so this was the first scenario where she says that I have to actually add to what you said before. It's good that you said it. She said that I don't feel that I can fulfill the farais as a single woman. Yeah. So how can I fulfill the farais as a married woman? I should have stayed single, and it's not farais for me to get married. Not as if I was going to do anything haram. Yeah. And so basically, I should have stayed single, fulfill my farais, and
So
reached
you
Allah
have,
that way.
but now she's married, right? So then why is she like that? What's happened has happened.
Destiny, you're going to say again.
Well, what's
Yeah, I mean,
happened has happened.
let me
Let's
just-
assess the situation as it is right now.
Yeah, like even what Khalid Bhai is mentioning here, we know marriage, there are different stages. Yeah, for some it's sunnah, for some it gets to the level of fard, it has to be done. For some it's an optional thing. If you're already married,
For
then of
some
course a
it's haram.
second marriage it's optional.
Yeah. Okay.
For somebody who knows he's committing sin, and the sin that we refer to, whether he's pleasing himself physically, and I'm sure the viewers understand what I say, or he's engaging in haram activity, whether it be private time with the opposite gender, whether he's viewing content online, all of those would be considered now. He's at that stage where marriage is further upon him. He should get married. And somebody for a sunnah would be he has means to do a second marriage. For him, the sunnah would be to now, okay, if you have the finances for a second marriage, then you go take up that. But again, within reasonability, if he knows, like Quran says, فَإِن لَمْ تَعْدِلُوا فَوَاحِدَةً, if you know you won't be able to do justice, then you stick to one.
What if he doesn't even have the finances for one? What's the
The
guidance
finance
for-
is one of the preconditions.
Well, they are
It is.
there's the benefit system.
In this country, yes.
Yes.
But we have to speak globally.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Globally.
Quran came and Sunnah is not just for the UK. Those are going to be on universal
Yeah.
credit. We're talking about the entire globe.
Generally.
Yeah.
Yeah. People in different countries. Yeah. We're talking about UK at the moment. But Chalo, theek hai, we're going away from the scenario. So we need an answer to the scenario. So the first
Okay,
thing was.
so these are all pre-things that
Yeah.
I thought should be mentioned clearly
Yeah.
first.
Absolutely.
Now let's say now this scenario that you're mentioning,
Yeah.
it was further upon that individual, man or woman, to get married. Now that they have got married, and now it was fulfillment of their deen because they did not want to commit further haram. That's why they got married, yeah?
Did you say it was farz for them to get married?
Yeah. Let's put it, it was for because they were indulging in haram.
No, they weren't.
They weren't?
No.
Okay,
They-
that changes it slightly.
That changes that. So basically, the majority of people who are practicing Muslims, they go to classes, they do mehfils, they do everything. So now what they want to do is they think, oh, it's very good for me to fulfill the sunnah, complete half my deen,
Yep.
and learn Islam as well from each other, husband, wife, learn from each other, together go to classes, that kind of mahal. But then what's happened is the wife says that my parents don't live too far away, let's just say. So we're not talking about a different country.
Okay.
So now she wants to go to their house on a regular basis. Yeah.
All right.
So she's saying that I've done most of the housework. I haven't done all of it, but who can do all of it? She says most of the housework.
It's
I
never
don't know.
complete.
I don't know. I wouldn't know. But anyway,
never complete.
but you know, and you, my dear husband, have asked me to do a few jobs, and so
She's done them.
she's not completely done them. They're left for about a month or so. Like, and Chalo, they're not like serious at the moment.
If it's like, the grand cleanup of the house, you have like a weekly one.
yeah,
Then you have a monthly grand
yeah,
cleanup where you even pick the sofas up, you pick the beds up, you hoover underneath and do all of that.
Yeah.
If it's that type, then it's understandable.
yeah.
But if it's like that weekly one that's just being left behind, for example, she's not giving the kitchen a proper clean, or the bathroom is not getting a proper clean. I mean, that's serious.
But Islamically, is she even required to clean?
Yeah. So basically, I'm coming to that bit. She says, the fathers, yeah. If the husbands are supposed to, because we're trying to be reasonable here,
Yeah.
Because one of the problems is if you go too much into the fard and the haram, then you're basically left with almost a no marriage.
Yeah.
Because he's just
Not a
providing
functional
her.
marriage.
Not
At
a
all.
real function, because
Yeah.
he's providing her with one clothing a year, or maybe two summer winter, enough food to keep her back straight, and enough shelter to keep from hot and cold. And what does she do? She only fulfills his sexual needs. Yeah. Okay. So is that the sunnah? No. Yeah. But it is the faraz. Now, how many human beings can live in that? So basically, people need to understand that Sharia is like bare minimum, but you are a human being. Yeah. Now, going on top of that, let's make one thing clear. Many women know that the man is the leader of the home. Yeah. Now, if she keeps on asking him things like, for example, not just parents' home, but I want to do this, I want to go out, I want to do this, I want to do that. So whether it's friends or whatever, yeah. Is it not good for the man to please Allah and keep on saying yes? Wouldn't Allah be happy with him if he kept on saying yes? This is like a mild view that some men do.
Is that a realistic expectation though, for a man to okay, it might please Allah Ta'ala, but how many men do you know are at that level just for the sake of pleasing Allah?
He will come to a breaking point.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy for a relationship.
No.
He's now, in this scenario, I mean, what I'm feeling here is, he's making so many sacrifices.
It's a one-way traffic.
That's the point I was going to make. It seems like he's now making all the sacrifices to please Allah. When is she going to please Allah? Or is this individual so pressed down in this relationship, he doesn't have a say? And he never gets to express how he wants her to please Allah. Why is it only him pleasing Allah?
Because he wants to get to paradise and she
And
can
she
go
doesn't.
where she wants.
She doesn't know what she wants.
Because everybody.
Because she's obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, she wants a dunya at the moment. But reasonability would be, I mean, it has to be within reason. I believe every relationship is different. My level of understanding with my wife will be different to yours, will be different to Bilal's. Whatever's reasonable for you.
It's also about finding a balance, right? Depending on your schedule. So you can't just say reasonable. That's why it's difficult to define what's reasonable.
Yeah.
Because for couples,
This is why I said understanding within a couple. Whatever's understandable between them.
for couples that are working all week and don't see each other, for the wife to go away on the weekend also, that's quite difficult for the guy, right?
Yeah. Because that's the only time he actually gets to spend with her.
Yeah. Whereas if it was like all day they spend together,
Yeah.
maybe going back home on the weekend it's reasonable. It depends on your situation.
Okay, what if he says that you can go to your mum's but you can't stay overnight?
That's a reasonable demand.
And then she
That
says,
demand is perfectly
she
fine.
says, no, I am going to stay overnight.
That would be wrong. That would be her pushing herself now, pushing herself across the limit, because he has a right to spend every night with her.
Okay, and if she does do that, she disobeys him and she goes and stays there overnight, then what?
It would be wrong of her. She would be questioned, and he has every right to ask for his right on the day of judgment.
Would she be sinful though?
Depends on how the person takes it. If he is really, he's fuming,
Yeah.
and he demanded her to be there,
Yeah.
but she wasn't at any cost, then yes, she would be sinful.
Mm.
But if it's just like, no, we have to be home,
Mm.
and then he knows, okay, if we are going to go home, I'm only going to go to sleep. Nothing major going on.
Yeah, he's not really
Really
bothered.
interested, yeah? And it doesn't really affect him as much. Then that would be different.
Right.
Then I believe she would not be sinful unless he considers it to be sinful, because it's his right,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah, he's right.
She doesn't get to choose when it's sin or not.
Mm.
It's because it's his right that he's demanding. If he can forgive his right,
Yeah.
then she's not at sin.
Yeah.
Now, if he can say, okay, fine, okay, if
I'll-
on this
I
one
give up
weekend
my
you want to
right.
stay there,
Yeah.
fine, you can stay.
Yeah.
But now, if she starts demanding the khali by saying, no, I want to spend every night there,
And he wants to take up his right.
and he wants to take up his right,
Then-
and this is why they both initially got married, and hence why
Yeah.
we said, the marriage is for Allah, isn't it? Fulfillment of the deen, and he wants to fulfill his right. Then he gets, I believe he has the authority to decide on that one.
Isn't there a thing where if a man asks from his wife to spend time with him in the bedroom,
Yep.
and she refuses, then all night, essentially, angels curse her.
Curse, yeah. Yeah.
That is a hadith.
Yeah.
And this is why I said that whether it's sinful or not, or whether she is cursed or not, I think that the decision lies on the man, because it's his right. If he is aware of this hadith and knows of of how severe of a punishment that is, to be cursed for the entire night, and he genuinely loves his wife and he cares for her, and he feels that compassion that okay, okay, I'll allow her to stay at her parents,
Yeah.
then she's not at sin. But if she's pushing her limits, now he can't contain himself any longer. That's when there's that element of sin, where like we mentioned earlier, it's gonna lead to a breakdown. It's a one-way traffic at the moment,
What?
and when that breakdown happens, I think that's the point when where the punishment will begin to.
You were mentioning about haram ways to pleasure yourself. Whether
Okay.
it's yourself or with someone else.
Hmm.
What if the man, as a result of his wife not essentially
I knew he was going to ask this.
agreeing to his request,
He then goes out and commits sin.
commits sin? What's the ruling on that?
Oh, come on, take it easy, Bilal.
Come on, then of course he.
Genuinely, these are questions
these are-
people would want to understand.
Of course. I mean, he goes out and he starts watching adult content
Yeah, for
Yeah.
example.
because his wife is not home,
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
because she's spending too much time at her parents,
yeah,
or he physically pleasures himself, or he goes out and commits sin, ma'adallah.
yeah,
Then of course he's at sin for committing the sin,
yeah,
but she also gets a portion of the sin
yeah.
because it's happening because of her not being there for him.
Mm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, if he says,
But it works vice versa as well.
yeah,
So when we are talking about men asking for their rights, let's say it's a woman here who wants her right, but because he has such physical hard labor he does, in the evening he has no energy whatsoever to do anything. Now she's having to resort to pleasuring herself. He'd be at sin because he's not fulfilling her right as well. Both
Yeah.
have physical rights. It's not just a man here. So when we talk about rights, physical rights, yes, we portray as men obviously they have more of that demand. But women also have the same thing as well. They experience the hormones and they go through that psyche the same way. And they also need that physical relationship as well.
So in this situation where the man says, no, you cannot do this, and the woman says, yes, I am going to do this, and she does it, then
Does what? Like-
meaning like stay over parents or something like, or go out or do whatever. And with even a religious mehfil, even if she wants to go to, just a mehfil, and I don't mean a Fardu line class, I just mean, Nasheed singing or something, zikr or something. So,
That's like not reading your Fard Namaz and just reading Tahajjud all day long.
yeah, it wasn't time for a tahajjud. So, yeah, absolutely, you're right. So, basically,
You have to know your priorities.
okay, so this is a non-Muslim country, and the akhirah is where the wife will be responsible. We're talking about the wife at the moment. I'm coming to some husband scenarios in a bit, so sisters, please hang on. So basically,
I'm actually trying to take their side at the moment.
no, well, but basically, it's ladies
You're trying
first,
quite
innit?
hard.
Yeah, ladies first. So
Yeah.
basically, he can get her punished on the day of judgment, but in this world, in the UK, let's talk about UK at the moment rather than globally, he can't do much.
Oh, no.
He can't do much at all. I mean, what can he do? Absolutely nothing.
No, whether he's in the UK or not in the UK, he's still in
What?
the East. He can't do not much at all.
Well, I know people,
is
some
no-
in the East, who sort of take their wife out in the middle of the night and there's a shed somewhere. And yeah, so no police come around.
I'm sure that's not Islamically allowed.
Oh, well, but he said, I got to get my right. So basically, but anyway, let's put that aside.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought you meant beating.
No, not beating.
No, no,
just, she would call
He's
it rape.
talking about his right here.
Oh.
Yeah, she would actually call it rape, and he wouldn't. But anyway, that's another hot topic. But
So you don't even start on that because
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
having studied UK law, I mean, any time when a man has any physical contact and it's
the
not
woman
consented,
always wins the case.
no, and it's not consented
Yeah.
by law, it's considered rape.
yeah,
But the thing is,
Even if it's a husband or wife, a husband could be raping his wife. In the eye of the law
What's-
here,
yeah.
that would be considered rape.
What's to say at the time she gave consent, but later on she
Midway,
falsely-
she didn't give consent now.
Yeah. So then the problem is,
Midway starts to become rape.
yeah. The
Come
problem,
on.
The
Okay,
problem is,
I
that
know
gets you into
cases like
trouble.
that.
So
Let-
there are flaws in the system.
Yeah.
Let's not make it really one-sided. I know judges that
Okay.
are intelligent enough to give a verdict where no, you gave him consent initially, you were happy, or even if you weren't happy initially, just like he fulfills, your pleasure,
Yep.
you were fulfilling his, and
Yep.
and what's wrong with that? So they are non-Muslim judges, and it's not, I've seen cases, it's not like that all the time. I think there's a perception in the media that it is like that, and generally speaking, the law seems to be that way. But the
law
thing
is
is that,
because I've studied a little bit. I've done 2 years.
Yeah.
Having gone through family law,
yeah,
that is part of the law,
That-
but
yeah.
it's open to understanding,
yes,
and,
absolutely.
and it comes down to the case. Each case will be dealt with separately,
Absolutely,
and the judge will have his own personal take.
yeah.
What's the
And it's good that
majority
you
though?
said that, because the viewers, we don't want like our sisters who are viewing this thing, wait a minute, we can get away with it. So it's good that you said that. It comes out. So don't think, sisters, that there's no
The law
punishment
says
under
one
UK
thing,
law.
it sets
Yeah.
a principle, but then the judge will decide
Yeah,
on how it's going to be interpreted and how it's going to be implemented.
yeah. Sorry. So here's the other point. So basically, though making this very clear for the sisters and the brothers, though the brothers in the UK, let's just say, though the brothers in the UK cannot do anything about their wives sort of going off, let's just say,
Okay.
for sake of a better word, but Allah, His angels would curse in this world, and don't think that she's going to live a happy life here if she does that and suffer, and then definitely there's punishment and suffering in the hereafter. Yeah, so that's a massive warning for the sisters, because not everybody gets their justice in this world. Look at the rich and the poor and the oppressor and the oppressed. Not everybody gets justice. So therefore we have something called the Day of Judgment.
Yep.
Now, people who are short-sighted can't see the Day of Judgment. They just look at instant pleasure here, and they will make up certain excuses. Oh, my mental state wasn't all that. Allah knows what your mental state is. You're not clinically ill to belong in a mental hospital to that level. But the thing is that, yes, here's the other side of it now for the sisters. To make them understand one other side, I know loads of husbands. Well, okay, not loads, I'll take that back. I know some husbands who are very forgiving.
You were quick to take that back.
Very forgiving. No, I had to take that back because I sort of I looked at some figures in my brain. So basically, they are very forgiving, and the wife knows it. And I know a number of wives who take advantage of that. Oh, he's going to forgive me anyway. Yeah. Now, one of the things that I would say to those husbands is, don't forgive with your tongues, forgive with your heart. Don't tell them, if you keep on forgiving them, you're sending them to hell. They're going to suffer. Yeah. And
See, that's
doesn't it depend though? If going back to the point, if the husband's giving up his right,
I think that's also cowardly behavior.
Yeah.
For him to just keep consenting with his tongue but not with his heart. That's quite cowardly of him to do that. Because he should be man enough, mature enough to speak to his wife, sit her down and have a discussion. I mean, a relationship can only prosper, can only develop if there's that level of understanding. And where he feels he's sacrificing more than what she is, then he has every right to have a discussion. And if he thinks the message doesn't get across, it doesn't register with her, then this is where family counselling comes in, where you approach, let's say, your local Imam Sahib if he's trained in counselling, or you go to, let's say, any elder that you both look up to, whether it's a sheikh of your tariqah or a teacher you have that you can refer to, then it should be discussed. Otherwise, it leads to breakdown of marriages, and in the long term, you'll realize that divorce, what initiated all of this was long time ago, is when she started going out with her friends on a weekend only. Then it became 2 days, then it became 3 days, then before you know it, it's 7 days, and now she wants to go to her parents because she's now seeing that, that weakness. Yeah,
she's exploiting it.
She's exploiting it.
Yeah,
and he doesn't know where to put a cap on it. He can't stop it now because he's already started it. She knows he's a softie, and then she'll take advantage of it.
So a month ago, I had this case where the lady did not want to have any kind of counselling at all. Okay. And she said to the husband, well, what can you do? Yeah, and she used to go and come when she wants, even in the middle of the night, she used to come back.
Okay.
Yeah, there used to be men from her workplace in their group of ladies and men going out as well. She would go to Christmas parties, etc. So basically, he said to me, I can't do nothing, can I? And I said, not in this world. Yeah, because
I think it's too late now.
It's too late now because they tried to get the families involved.
Had he cracked down on it a long time ago,
absolutely, yeah,
there would have been a solution.
So now, please, sisters, listen to this. When your husbands are saying to you in the beginning moments of a problem that, please, I do not want you to develop this habit, therefore I'm putting my foot down, then listen to them. Yeah, then listen to them when they are asking for their rights. I don't
think some men even would be mature enough to identify that.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, out of love and compassion, he's allowing her to go.
Yeah. That's what I
Then he allows it second time, third time, fourth time. It now becomes so casual and easy for her. She just does it without his permission as well now.
Yeah.
And when it starts happening without his consent, one day, out of fury, it's been building inside.
Yeah.
But he's not able to release. He's not able to express that anger he's had.
Frustration. Yeah.
That frustration's been building for weeks, for months. But the one day when he does express it, she's shocked, she's taken away. And now you'll get the response which you're saying, do what you want. I'm not going to stop. Because by now she's already made so many commitments with friends and family and whatever. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. Now for her to turn around and say, look, my husband's not allowing me. Her own ego and her nafs, it's going to become the biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
So she'd rather sacrifice him, knowing it's wrong, but she will do that because that's herself.
Save face.
That's her habit now. That's how she is now. Yeah, when with some of these sisters, when you say to them in the early stages that, this is such a common thing that come across.
Common.
Don't do that. Don't build up a habit. They say, but we're not. They say for
the first time,
for the last
time or third time.
Well, one of them said, I think for the last few months.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't regularly gone to my parents. But now, in the last few weeks, I've been going very regularly.
So she's making up, for those missed days.
So the whole point is that now here's my big question.
Genuine reasons, though. It
Yeah,
could
for
be
example,
genuine.
No, no,
if
no,
her
not
mother,
genuine
for example,
reasons.
is ill or her father's
Yeah.
ill,
Oh no, no, not for
it's
genuine
understandable
reasons.
that she goes regularly
You know,
now
the
to
other
visit
Of
thing-
course,
them.
of course. Even he would go down to check
The-
on them and help
The
out.
other
and-
thing to point out here is, you were saying that why doesn't the husband early on have that discussion with the wife? I would say in some situations, some relationships are such that even if he was to have that discussion, the wife wouldn't be mature enough to
yes,
kind of appreciate
yeah, I
that.
found
Both
that.
would not be mature.
Yeah.
He wouldn't know this is what's going to lead to because
Yeah.
he's not been exposed to it before.
Yeah.
Unless he's listening to this podcast and we're telling him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, when is this discussed
It's-
in public?
It's better for him to, with that intention of trying to avoid that scenario eventually occurring. Say at that point, I don't. My personal preference is that you don't go already, because going back to the point, you should kill a snake when it's small,
Yeah,
right? Because
Yeah.
then once it becomes a habit, habits are hard. Really, habits only die when you actually die.
yeah.
Seriously.
Well, yeah.
It's the
yeah.
truth.
You can
Most
look at that.
people can't get rid of bad habits in their
Yeah.
lives.
Because
honestly.
they haven't been to the right person, they haven't been taught, etc. It's just saying one more thing on this. Then we're going to switch it on the husbands. Yeah. So basically, we understood. Just recapping, understood a few things. Number one, when a mature husband decides that the wife is building up a bad habit, then the wives should listen to their husbands. Yeah. If he's allowing her, to do what she wants, but then he sometimes says, no, please do this, that, and the wife should be initially mature enough to know, without bringing in the ego, that this can lead to a bad habit. They should realize that themselves rather than the husband or anybody else telling them.
But I don't think that happens.
But that is the thing that needs
doesn't
to
happen.
happen.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen. That's the thing.
This comes down to
Because it starts with something so small,
yeah,
so
you
so
don't-
minute,
You
so
don't
subtle.
realize it.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
But then over the time, you'll
builds
see
up.
things will start to build.
Also, I think there's a role for the both parents of those basically of the married couple.
Oh, don't
to
bring in
play.
the parents.
No, honestly, I think some of this is linked to tarbiyah, especially for the female and the male. Some guidance already before going into that marriage from their parents on how to deal with such
Bilal
situations.
Sahab, I'm not
Would've been
joking with
appropriate.
you. We have had so many where, like, what is under Hanafi fiqh, right? Initially, husband and wife try to sort it out. It doesn't work. Get the two families of the husband and
course,
wife. If it doesn't work, go to a mufti or a panel. Now, look at this second stage. The worst time is the second stage.
Yeah.
I mean, the parents haven't got the tarbiyah. They are not
then that's the issue.
counselors.
That's probably
they do
why
not know Islam, and they bring in the sort of wisdom out of their so-called old age experience, and quite a bit of it
And
is
it's not
cultural.
really wisdom. It's all based on honor,
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
izzat.
Absolutely.
And it's not really what the Quran Sunnah wants, and it's not the solution for this couple either. But it's just a matter of saving and protecting their honor, and each one of the families will want the upper hand.
Yeah.
But
I
they-
had sisters coming to me who were physically beaten,
Allah
and even the husband said talaq more than 3 times, and it went back to her dad and brother, and dad and brother said, look, where with you, go back, Isa Izzat. I know real life cases like that, more than one. I mean, that is really sad to see
It's
that.
difficult.
Okay, so now we're going to bring it on the husbands a little. Okay, so I know quite a few, in fact, a lot of men.
Are you sure about this one?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Okay.
basically,
Few or a lot?
basically,
That's the question.
it's just the amount of marital cases you deal with is more than any other kind of problematic case that you deal with. So they go out a lot with their friends.
Yep.
They do not spend much time at home. They leave the wife to look after the kids and to
Guys,
raise
are
the
you-
home.
You're referring to guys.
Yeah, guys, yeah. And in fact, if when it comes down to paying the bills, etc., they rather spend their money with their mates, etc., and they say, look, go and claim benefit, which is actually fraud. Go and claim benefit and use that to pay for, child tax credits and all this kind of thing. Like you're on universal credit or I don't know what. And so basically you pay for the bills, you pay for the shopping.
Whilst
and
he spends his time out.
he spends his money, whatever he works, time out there. And his excuse is, when I come back from work, if I don't do that, I'm going to get depression. I'm going to get sectioned off in a mental state hospital, something like that. So, some of them I know also use drugs as well. Little drugs like spliff or something like that, just to keep them okay.
They
Now,
have to be using that stuff too to come up with
these
lines
kind
like
of
this.
justifications.
but that's culture. That's. I'm not joking with you. I was
That's
actually
UK culture.
shocked. I was shocked the amount of religious guys that use Class C drugs. Religious guys use Class C drugs.
You're gonna
You
pull
say
one
religious.
out. You're gonna pull a spliff out
Yeah.
just now.
Yeah, you're not putting me on the spot, are you?
No, no,
That's
no,
what
no,
I was
no,
thinking.
no.
Religious guys.
Because I know Bilal doesn't do that stuff.
Well, okay, that's good. But the thing is that
Helena, you.
I was shocked.
No, when you
no,
say
I
religious-
don't, no, I don't do that. No, I don't.
Well,
None of us do that.
No,
But,
when you say religious,
yeah.
you mean those that are regularly attending the masajid or in gatherings? You see them in religious gatherings.
Yes.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, they're
maybe-
linked to some teacher, some ustad,
Yeah,
some
well,
sheikh
this
or
is the
someone.
problem. This is the problem. When you say to them, link yourself to a teacher, they mean a Peer Saab or Maulvi Saab, and say, well, we've
No,
been
where,
there.
where you know you're in regular contact
Yeah.
with somebody of good Islamic understanding.
Okay, here's the sad thing. Here's a really sad
Because-
thing. Now you mentioned it, yeah? When they have been, and I know sincerely a number of them have been, they weren't catered for. The teachers or the Peer Saab or the Maulvi Saab or the local Imam,
doesn't have the training.
he doesn't, he'll give them a textbook answer and it's not for them, it's not suitable for them, and it's not practically
you wouldn't
helping
define
them.
him as a teacher, then, would he?
Well,
This
you
is somebody
see,
who you
how
can
many of them are
actually-
like that out there?
Yeah.
That's a different topic, but
That's-
it's a major problem.
This world is full of.
It's a
people, yeah.
major. You would only out of my life, I've found a small number of unique teachers who could actually deliver according to the Sunnah of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi
Sallallahu
Wasallam.
Alaihi
The
Wasallam.
rest of them, they have not much experience. Some of them, to be honest, is not their fault because the elder ones haven't been raised in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But even the younger ones, they're just
The ones currently now, they should at least have that type, or
yeah,
at least.
some of them
some
are just
level of-
blinded by, I know, tough to say
I
on
mean,
social
we know
media.
Khalid by that. Some people are shuyukh, they are now actually taking up counselling.
Yes,
family
and we
counselling
encourage them.
as a course.
Absolutely. Those are good ones to go to.
They
But-
are the people that
But
should
not
be
just the
promoted.
course, they have to have field experience for a number of years before they start delivering. Now, the problem is that they all of a sudden think that their counselors do, okay, hands-on experience is good, but here's the big problem. You're
But
dealing with a
majority
marriage
would not
here.
would have experienced personally
they're young.
these type of problems,
The reality is,
and they wouldn't
because
really
they're
know
young,
the solutions.
They wouldn't know.
They wouldn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're so young, as you're saying. The older, they're just gone. They've not been raised in that way. The young are too young to
Yeah,
have
there's a
experience.
gap in the
those
market.
things.
And it's
There's a
not
gap.
just that. When a sheikh gets married, he's gonna want to find somebody who knows her at least
Yeah.
basic faraid, yeah. And when both are educated upon their rights, you will see straight away that wouldn't be much problems in their marriage.
A better approach to
Better
resolu-
approach.
resolve
And
the
there
issue.
are
Though I have seen Quranic ayahs and hadiths being
But
flown
you're
either
gonna get
way
that
like
everywhere, though, aren't you? Like,
I have
You're gonna
seen
get
that.
that, come
Yeah,
on.
I
you're
have
gonna
seen
get
that.
that.
But because of that, if you look at like the people who are nominally even religious, you find that the husband says clearly, Allah has made me as an authority in the home.
Okay.
I want to be nice and wise and take advice of my wife and children, and then do istikhara or ask a good advice from other religious people, and then make a decision on something. Yeah. Now that's like a big time. Now on a small, as you said earlier, everyday things, Shariat isn't detailed in that way. It gives you a guideline. Yeah. So when one thing which I would say to husband and wives, please don't just chat about Sharia, because what happens, that causes arguments, debates. Yeah, like the
and you
husband
shouldn't
says,
even pass your own personal comments on the Sharia either.
absolutely you shouldn't. Absolutely.
I understand we're all Muslims, and
Yeah.
that because we feel for our religion, we want to comment on it. But to comment on the ahkam of Sharia, on the rulings of Sharia, or how you think the Sharia should have been,
Yeah.
then you're personalizing it to your experience.
Yeah.
If that starts to happen, then Islam would be different in every house.
Yeah.
Islam is universal. It's here for the entire globe. Whether you're in Ethiopia, Pakistan, France, UK, wherever you are, it's going to apply for all.
That's usually that's the accusation. Oh, you're personalizing it.
Yeah.
And all he said, I'll tell you like real life example. What one husband said to a wife. Everybody loves real life examples. You need to touch. So one husband said to wife that Allah has made me the leader of this home, just like He has made like a leader of country, the leader of His nation. Yeah. She goes, that's fine. Now listen to the brilliant answer. He goes,
And
that's
then the
fine.
big,
Yeah, but I feel that I can't even breathe in this house.
all right.
Now he says, I let you do everything, only sometimes I say to you, don't do this. She goes, even so, you do not know my mental state. Now he's not a mental health expert. Yeah, now the thing is
She wasn't one either to have never shared that with him.
that yeah,
To now share it after several years
yeah,
and to use that to emotionally blackmail this
Yeah, it's
this
wrong.
poor husband.
You know,
it's wrong.
That's wrong.
Yeah, you should have said it before.
So
I
what's wrong
stayed
is wrong.
quiet.
This is what I
yeah,
said. As soon as there is any problem,
Yeah,
I mean, they should consult. They should sit down and discuss. When
Yeah,
that discussion doesn't happen
yeah,
because of either one of them being scared, being immature, not knowing,
yeah.
it causes mass problems. And this is why we want to also promote. Before marriage, there should be some counselling.
They only would go for a counsellor
Once things are broken
before
down.
marriage if they think that the other partner would think this isn't weird, or their family, and they will only go for counselling after marriage once the problem is deep set. Because initially, what do all couples do? And in fact, I know sheikh who do this. One sheikh was telling me a problem with his wife, yeah, and he says, he rings me up one day, he said, I had enough, and after a few days he rings me up, say, you know what, I think I need to stick with it. She's okay now. Then he rings me up after another week. Yeah, even he's doing the same thing, and he is a sheikh who gives marital advice to others. He's doing the same thing.
So look, even a sheikh needs
A sheikh.
counselling. He needs a sheikh, yeah, because husband and wife,
Yeah.
they will obviously look up to somebody, and they would want someone to solve their problems as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were saying you were going to be a feminist, so let me go on the other side. Right?
You're not doing a
Yeah.
good job today.
I'm not doing a good job.
Point I was
Yeah.
going to make is, certain women over exaggerate their emotional state. So even if they're saying I'm depressed, you don't know what my mental state is.
But isn't that
That's
normal?
just a statement
Isn't that what
to
women
make the
do?
husband
Yeah.
concerned
Yeah.
or pay attention.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they're mentally clinically depressed or whatever.
Whoa,
It's,
hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. How many men would even know what that word means?
No, not many men would know.
So
Yeah. I mean, the one wife said to the husband, she said, they were having an argument, and he kept on going on and on and on and on. And she said to me, look, why don't you just divorce me? And he's at talaq. Yeah.
Wow.
And then afterwards, the sheikh asked her, the counselling sheikh asked her, did you really want a divorce? She goes, no, I was just like exaggerating to tell how serious the problem was. You understand? So one thing that husbands needs to do is seriously calm down. Yeah. The husbands need to calm down. Yeah.
Look, the reality is
there is no calming down.
there is
In the heat
and
of that moment,
you
even
can-
if the super grand sheikh was sat there is no calming down.
he would want to rip his
Yeah.
shirt.
Oh dear.
Point,
Ain't
point
working.
being that it's difficult to stay calm when the other person is trying to almost add fuel to the fire, like purposely trying to aggravate you. And whether that's raising their voice, or with women, they don't actually need to raise their voice. It's just some of the things they would say in such a way.
The selection of words.
The selection of words. Men just don't have that capability.
They don't. They don't. Actually, they don't. But I'm going to ask you something here, Bilal Saab. Straightforward. Why is it that men, what's the core reason why men can't take it? Ego. Now, I'm gonna
Pride.
Take what?
take the heat from women. I'll tell you what I found in all my experiences, like the majority of experience. The reason is because they feel that they are going to lose their authority. When they lose their authority, the house is not going to run. The kids aren't going to be brought up his way. Our relationship with their parents. So that's the biggest fear out of my personal experience with all the marital cases that I've dealt with. They fear to lose their lead, not because of ego. The ego second level, but it's because they think that now what's going to happen is there's going to be a divorce, there's going to be child custody, there's going to be splitting of finances, there'll be enemies of her family versus my family, and they don't want that. They want peace. So they're trying to say to her, look, Allah has made me the leader. In fact, one of my teachers said to me that, when a woman is angry, you put Quran and Hadith in front of her, she'll put it side with her hand. That's how it is. Even if she's
in that moment,
practicing.
it's her, and that's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Why do you think that person wants so badly authority?
Because he feels that he knows better. because
Because
he knows better, because you're going to say the ego,
Ego.
yeah. But here's the point, Allah put him in that position.
That's true, but
Yeah.
the going back to real intentions versus what people are saying, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people would say that, oh, because Allah made me the leader. The reality is that guy, that person, it's his ego that really wants to have that position. A lot of the times, it's not because he's some pious man and he wants to follow what Allah Ta'ala has commanded. Because on the corner, he's still smoking a spliff and he's all
Okay.
he's doing all these other
Okay.
things as well,
Not
right?
the spliff guys. Now I'm going to tell you
Okay.
something. Yeah, not the spliff guy. Listen to this. So here's another scenario, absolutely common scenario. Okay, the man, he can't afford another house. His wife is saying, I don't want to live with my in-laws. Yeah, and now he can't afford it. I'm not talking about the ones who can afford it, the ones who cannot afford it.
Isn't this
yeah?
something you discuss before you get married?
Well, the thing is that how many people do that? You see, and I've seen so many cases where they discuss. I know couples who've known each other for years in a marriage discussion, like marriage interviews for years. Soon as they get married, it's still not going right because they missed out some point somewhere, and I think that's unhealthy to do. I think generally, as Maulana Sahib was saying, that the Sharia is there for you as a guideline.
Yeah.
Keep your peace of mind, stay happy. But when he cannot afford another house, she's saying to him, I don't want to live here. Now the right according to Sharia is
Islam,
that
it's for the women, isn't it?
yeah, for the woman is you have your own bedroom, even if you have a lock and key on it. Yeah, even if you have to share the bathroom and the kitchen, the Sharia is at least you have one room. That's like the bare minimum of Sharia. Okay, unless it's a massive house, that's different. The bare minimum of Sharia. Okay, now
No,
this
but if
is
she
not his
demands
ego.
a separate house.
Yeah.
Isn't it her right to be able to do that?
No, not
Because
according
I've
to.
heard other opinions on that.
Yeah, well, but let's not go to. I'm not going to name some
She
of
can
the
demand
opinions.
her own private space.
Right.
Yeah,
And I think that has to be given. That's a basic right. Everybody wants their own space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's, of course, sacrificed an entire family.
To be able to come here.
She probably lives in a detached house. Now she's stuck in one bedroom.
Yeah.
But now she's demanding more than that. If she knows he can't afford, then that demand is not reasonable. Unless he...
Yeah.
And he has to, in that time frame, genuinely make an attempt, if he can, to provide something. But if she knows he's trying and he can't, then she can't push it anymore. For her to bring that subject up every night,
Yeah.
and that's actually daunting upon him. He will avoid even stepping into his bedroom every evening because he knows
Trying to avoid
that's
that.
going to be an hour of bickering, and he's just going to get all of that because he can't afford a separate living.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it is difficult.
Okay. So, but with that situation, what the differences of opinions, we have to be careful here. And I don't want to name the groups, but we're here talking about Ahl Sunnah. We're talking about mostly Hanafis.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have to be careful because there's so much on the internet that people type up and they say to me, "Oh, I've got my right for this." I say, "No, you haven't. Who are you?" "I'm Sunni Hanafi." "No." "Yeah, where do you get that from?" Website. Well, they're not even Sunni. Yeah. So the thing is that it's really important. So in that situation, it's not his ego. In that situation, it's his right, and Allah has made him the leader. Otherwise, where's the leader? Like, where is the leader?
Where is that lead role?
Yeah. Qari Muhammad Tayyib Sahib actually said something beautiful. He said, and I use this example many times, if you're driving in a car as a family, the driver is the husband, next to him is the wife, behind is the kids. They can tell him, give him like directions, but it's up to him if he wants to. If they take the wheel off him, the whole car's going to crash.
Yeah. Ultimately, I mean, you can't have two steering wheels in one car.
Absolutely. So
He's the one that should be steering the relationship. He
Yeah.
makes the calls, especially when it comes to marriage of your kids.
Yeah.
So many fights kick off, husband, wives, whatever,
Yeah.
because husband wants the daughter to be married such a place, wife wants to marry to a different place.
Yeah.
So
So many problems.
So what's the one thing, one advice, simple advice you could give to couples out there that are having such issues?
For me, I would say the husband is the leader. And the
Okay.
husband should be a real leader, which is that do take advice from your wife, but then your head is going to be on the guillotine on Judgment Day if you don't make the right decision without referring to wise people, without doing your research, without doing istikhara, etc., etc. Yeah, and that's for big things. And for little things is very simple. Very simple. You respect your husband. Whatever you won't say to your dad, don't say to your husband. And with the husband, I will say to him that whatever you don't say to your daughter, yeah, don't say to your wife. I mean, that's a beautiful relationship.
I think let's end it on there.
Inshallah.
We could continue this tomorrow.
Inshallah. Jazakum al khair.